Welcome to the Sangha House and our meditation YouTube channel. Welcome to the meditation show. My name's Andy Spragg and I'm going to be taking you through an hour of insight, Buddhist thinking and some nice gentle music. I'm going to be doing a couple of meditations. I do recommend you join in. It's a great way to round off your week and get ready for the next one. Each of these shows, I present a different aspect of either Buddhist teaching or some sort of insight into the world's challenges, if you like. And today I'm going to talk about Samskara. So this is a Buddhist term. And as the show goes on, you're going to kind of get a feel for what it means, Samskara. So sometimes our feelings and emotions can really confuse us. Have you ever had one of those days where a strange feeling of anxiety or even dread comes up out of nowhere? It's really weird. And, when this occurs, naturally we try and think about why we're feeling like this. But nothing seems to add up. Nothing bad has happened. We've just got this feeling of anxiety or dread inside of us, and it's really weird. And you start thinking, well, maybe a friend or a family member's in trouble. You might even start ringing around everyone trying to find out. If you ring enough people, you'll probably find someone that is in trouble, and you go, aha, that's it. I knew there was a problem. Certainly if you have a more superstitious side, you can start to examine that kind of side of your life, if you like. And the mind leads us into thinking that that is the case, that we're experiencing this because of some sort of superstitious conclusion. I'm sure we've all experienced this. Buddhism offers an explanation of why this occurs. So in the first part of the show, before the first meditation, we're going to dig into the nature actually of emotion itself, because if we're going to understand why this occurs, we have to understand what emotion is. And on the surface, we all conclude that, and we start to drop labels like fear, anxiety, joy, all these different types of emotion, but they're just labels. What is emotion? So first of all, Buddhist thinking, and I'm sure lots of different psychological ideas reach the same conclusion. Emotion has three aspects to it. The first is the one we're most familiar with, the thoughts that go with it. And they tend to come in the form of justification, why I'm feeling like this. Let's say you're angry. You start thinking, well, it's not surprising I'm angry. They did this to me. The second part of emotion, and actually the part that we're really going to dig into this evening, is the feeling itself. All emotion has a physical manifestation in the body. This is key, and we can tune into that. The third part of emotion is, of course, action. We exhibit the emotion in some way through our actions. And obviously these can be very big actions. We scream and shout because we're angry, etc. But they can be very subtle as well. And we tend to exhibit our emotions in our faces, in our body language, in very, very subtle ways that others pick up. So if, for an example, an angry person walks into the room, you know they're angry. Before they've even said anything, you pick it up. So yes, these three aspects of emotion, the thoughts, the feeling, and the action. And we're going to be emphasizing the feeling part this evening. Now, the thought part is really run by our sense of self, our ego, because the first thing we do when we experience emotion is we search for a reason why. The ego wants to know it's right to feel like this. And it's a very, very powerful process. And therefore, the first thing we do is we look around us and we reach out for an explanation. So in the case of samskara, which is what we're talking about here, this strange feeling of anxiety or dread or other emotions arise, and we go looking for a reason. And the thoughts kick in to justify why we're feeling like this. The first thing that happens is the labeling. We label our emotions. I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm anxious, etc. And as soon as we've got that label, then we look for the explanation of why. Now, potentially, it gets it wrong. We latch on to the particular, sensory experience around us, and we use that as an explanation for why we're feeling like we do. It doesn't necessarily make us feel better, but our ego is satisfied. So it's important to notice that here we're talking about the feeling, not the thought, because the thought is often wrong. The answer to working with this sits in the body, because that's where we really feel the emotions. In the second part of the show, we'll talk more in detail about why these things arise. But first of all, the key thing we have to learn to work with is the body, to get in touch in detail, in a meditative way actually, with pure awareness, with the energy of the emotion, the feeling of the emotion. And most emotions manifest in the heart and the gut area. That's where we feel it. But actually the really powerful ones, like deep anxiety or stress or fear, they manifest right through the body. Literally our bones ache when we're in very deep emotion. And it's important to learn to just sit with full awareness of that feeling. It's hard. It's far from easy. It's called bearing witness in Buddhist practice. We sit with the nature of the emotion. It's very tough. So in meditation, what we're doing is we're actually learning a habit of doing that. Now, generally, in our day, our emotions are fairly light. And there'll be a mixture of positive emotions and negative emotions, but they'll be fairly light touched. We might have days when we sit to meditate where we have heavier emotion. But any time we sit and we tune into the heart and the gut, we're actually making a progress in terms of developing this habit of being able to sit with emotion. And we do this with this meditation that we're going to do now called the body scan, which helps us to get in touch with the body, learn to bear witness, to sit with absolute pure awareness, pay attention to what's going on. So I'm going to lead you through this. You need to be in a nice quiet place. Make sure you're not going to be disturbed. Turn your phone off. You need to be comfortable. It's no good sitting cross-legged if your foot's going to fall asleep and start to ache, because your entire meditation experience is going to be about that foot. So we need to be comfortable. Make sure you're sat on a nice comfortable seat. Chair's fine. I don't recommend lying down. You may well fall asleep. Meditation can activate the sleep systems in the body. So find that nice comfortable seat. Let's get ready for meditation. We're going to do our first meditation now, the body scan, really learning to pay pure, bare attention to the sensations in the body. I'm going to talk you through it. I'm going to lead you through the body. And as I lead you through, the primary focus is purely on sensation. What can you feel in each area of the body? But you're also looking for tension, because if you can let go of tension, It brings a deep stillness into the body and actually into the mind. And at the same time, as you become more and more still, you become more and more aware and centered, and therefore you'll feel more. And the two spiral off each other. The more you feel, the more centered and settled you become, and therefore the more you feel. Okay, so settling yourself down into your seat, gently close those eyes. Now rest the gaze slightly downcast. This helps to activate gentle concentration in the mind. Just take a couple of nice, long, deep breaths. Have a feeling of letting go on the out-breath. Settle a nice gentle intent in the mind that for the duration of this short meditation you're just going to be fully present. You can let go of all challenge in life, all problems. You can come back to that later. Just be here. Become aware of the room around you. Feel yourself sitting in your seat. And take your awareness, your mind, down into your feet and feel them. Content to be in the feet. Really tune in to what you can feel. And the mind might try to pull you away with thoughts or expectations, reverie. You notice that arising and just smile at it. The mind does that, and bring yourself back into the feet. Just content to be here, feeling the sensations in the feet. Nothing else is needed. You can work inside. See if you can pick up sensations in the muscles and the sinews. At the same time, noticing any tension, letting go. You notice how the more you let go, the more you start to feel. You look at the nature of those sensations. Constantly moving and changing, nothing static. Take a fascination in what you're feeling. This is life you're feeling. Pure awareness of life. Sensation. Work out onto the soles of the feet. Different parts of the soles of the feet. And then take yourself up over the heels and come up into the ankle bones. Working up gently into the shins and the calf muscles. Bigger muscle groups here, so you can really work on relaxing and softening the tension. And gently come up into the knees. Work along the thighs and the hamstrings. Up into the sitting bones. Here in the sitting bones, you can really enjoy a feeling of letting go into the seat, relaxing down. Feel the pull of the earth. Just let the head float up a little. Enjoy feeling the spine easing out and muscle stretching in the back. Don't bring in tension. Just bring in a sense of purpose into the posture. Now we're going to come into the heart space and the gut. Just get used to working in this area. And you pay awareness, attention to this area in exactly the same way as you felt the other parts of your body. Think about how you approach your feet. Do the same with your heart and your gut. When we do this, the mind tries to identify what it's finding. It might try and put labels on the emotions it finds. When you feel that labeling arising, or the desire to understand and label, let it go. Literally, just feel. How does the heart feel? How does the gut feel? Don't even answer that question with thought, just with experience. Learning to apply bare attention to the heart and the gut. Okay, so now we come up to the shoulders. When we have any tension in our lives, it reflects as tension in our shoulders. So just let the shoulders melt out. And then we bring that awareness down the arms and into the hands and the fingers. Come back up to the head. Just take a look across the surface of the head. See what you can feel and find. And now relax the face, soften the face. When we soften in the face like this, it helps to imagine the idea of a contented, compassionate smile sitting on the face, in the face, behind the eyes. And what you find then is this gets reflected through the body and through the attitude of mind. So just try that. Bring that idea of a contented smile throughout the face, like a Mona Lisa smile. Let's bring all of this experience together, and toes to the top of the head, and feel your heart within you. Your complete picture of this moment right now, just sitting. So the best way to get to grips with this this idea called Samskara is through examples. And this will reveal why the body is so important in this process. So first one is a real world example. This was experienced and written about by actually a Buddhist monk. A Buddhist monk that was in New York at the time, walking down the street, just an ordinary street. And as he walked down the street, he noticed actually anger bubbling up inside of him. Yes, even a monk can get angry, but it's what they do with it that matters. They're still human beings, monks. So he felt this anger bubble up, and he stopped and he thought, this has to be samskara. I'm going to look around myself and see why. So he started looking around, and on the other side of the street was an individual, a man, walking the other way. Now actually, the monk realised that he didn't know this man, never seen him before, but this particular individual had a similar body shape and a similar walking gait to someone that had wronged the monk in the past, had done something bad. Classic samskara. The corner of the eye picks up the body shape, and very quickly the samskara is activated. It's like a memory in the body of an episode. And, most of us, what will happen is we won't even have noticed that the anger's arisen. It's in us. We carry on walking down the street and something else happens. Maybe another individual is walking towards us and they accidentally knock us. And now we notice the anger and we have an explanation for it. But the explanation is wrong. Here's a second one. This is a longer one. And I've made this up to illustrate samskara. So there's a young lad. He's 18 years old. And he's fallen in love for the first time. He's got a girlfriend. And like all of us at this age, this is the big one. He's going to spend the rest of his life with this girl. He's diving in deep. Anyway, the one day he's driving down the motorway in his beat-up old second-hand VW Polo. Type of vehicle we all had when we were our first vehicle. And a light blue, battered old Ford Fiesta drives past, sky blue. He looks through the window because it's the same colour and shade and same type as his girlfriend's car. And there, in the car, she can see his girlfriend in the driving seat with her arm around a young chap in the passenger seat. Well, you can imagine what's happened. He just goes into meltdown, this guy, and he goes off to work and he spends the whole day thinking about this episode, replaying that image. And as he's replaying it, he's thinking, I'm going to have it out with her. I'm going to pick up the phone and talk to her about this because this is disgraceful. She's two-timing me. In the next instant, no, I'm going to play it light. I'm going to play it cool. I'm going to see what comes out, what she says next time I meet her. No, I'm going to have it out with her. He spends all day flip-flopping between these two states. And every time he does it, he's replaying that mental image of that sky blue Ford Fiesta, slightly beaten up, with the sight of his girlfriend in the driver's seat with her arm around another fella. Well, by the end of the day, he's absolutely exhausted by all of this. And finally sanity prevails, and he thinks, hang on a minute. She's on holiday in Corfu with her parents. It can't be her. It was just another sky blue Ford Fiesta with a totally random girl in the driving seat. So he feels exhausted, relieved, but at that point the samskara has gone in deep. That sensory experience, everything that was around that, the motorway, the Ford Fiesta, the colour of it, even potentially the weather on the day, will all be collected together in the body with the sensory experience of the emotions that were going through him. Now here's the gig. Many years later, he's a successful businessman. He's driving down the motorway in his BMW 5 Series or whatever. And he's feeling fine. He's feeling optimistic for the day. And a sky blue Ford Fiesta happens to drive past. Now, if he's paying attention, he'll feel a sense in his body, a tightening, a little bit of anxiety in the stomach, and there'll be an emotional reaction there. Classic samskara, and actually that will then potentially play into his day. When he gets into the office, he feels a bit uneasy, and perhaps right through the day he's trying to figure out why, because he didn't remember the sky blue Ford Fiesta, but it's awoken the samskara. It's classic. So yes, essentially samskara get coded into the body during heightened emotional times, and they get associated with whatever sense experiences are going on around them. So in the case of the monk, it was the body shape in the corner of the eye, and with our young 18-year-old, and many years later a successful businessman, it's the sky blue shape of the Ford Fiesta. And this explains this potential superstitious dread that creeps into our lives sometimes, because a lot of these samskara we won't necessarily remember what caused them. And they might have happened when we were 3, some strong emotional response to something, but they're still in there. And then many, many years later, those sense experiences, the colours, the smells, the temperature, all these types of things come into play and coincide and recall the samskara in our bodies. And it feels like anxiety, worry, fear, etc. They're not all bad. Samskara can be associated with beautiful emotional experiences. I have one which is associated with the ticking of a clock. A certain tempo of ticking clock brings in a deep sense of peace and safety. And I know why, because when I was a young child I used to go and stay with my grandparents, and they put me up in my aunt's old bedroom, and they made me feel very safe. They spoiled me, as grandparents tend to do. And on the mantel shelf in that bedroom was a clock. So a very good samskara experience, not one that I want to lose. But what do we do about this? What do we do about samskara? The answer lies in that tension in the body. We don't have to unpick them. In fact, sometimes it helps not to, because we can deepen their effect if we figure out how they were triggered. So instead, what we do is we focus on the body itself, just the same as we did in the body scan in the first meditation. And we learn to soften, because all of these types of emotions carry tension. All the ones that adversely affect us, like fear, anger, anxiety, stress, they all carry tension, and they manifest in the heart and the gut, and actually right through the body. That's why we feel like our bones are aching, because the whole body tenses up. So we learn to soften as soon as we start to feel that tension arising. So the first thing we've got to do actually is start to notice the tensions arising. Just like the monk in the story, the first thing he noticed was tension. And he noticed it was associated with anger, and then he figured out this was samskara. And he would have worked on it in exactly this way, by softening, bringing the awareness into the area that's tense and softening. So we're going to have a go at this with the mindfulness of breathing now. So set yourself up, get yourself nice and comfortable. I'll be right back. Okay, so welcome back. Let's do our mindfulness of breathing and learn a habit of taking awareness into the heart and the gut areas, learning how to soften there. I'll talk you through it. So again, settling down into your seat and letting the gaze rest slightly downcast. Just take that couple of nice deep breaths with a feeling of letting go on the out-breath. Resolving gently, and for this short time you're going to stay with the practice, just working on awareness and softening. Taking that awareness down back into the body again, we become aware of the whole body, just as we did in the first meditation. Feeling the whole body sitting in your seat, with particular awareness the heart and the gut space. Just sitting, just feeling. Don't let the mind conclude anything or create anything. You just want pure awareness here. What does the body feel like? What does the heart and the gut feel like? So we're sitting, paying attention to the body. You can start to become aware of the body breathing. You feel it in the chest area, with the rising and falling of the rib cage. It's the physical feeling of the body breathing. Just watching that, paying attention to that. You can watch the full path of the breath. In through the nose, down through the throat and the chest area, working down into the belly, and then letting the breath go again. Just feel that. We're going to bring a phrase into this. The phrase is let go. So as you're breathing, watching the body breathe, as you breathe out or watch the body breathe out, hear the phrase let go echo in the mind, and try to introduce that feeling into the body as the breath passes out. A real deep feeling of letting go right through the body. Just like the body scan, we let go of all tension on the out breath. So each out breath, we're softening and letting go right through the body a little bit more. Breathing gently, let go on the out breath. Nothing else is needed. Just watching the body, hearing that gentle voice in the head, let go on the out breath. Let go of all other thought. Just experience. Deep feeling of relaxation, breath by breath, letting go a little bit more. Now we need to bring this sense of focus into the heart and the gut. The main area where we experience our emotions. So start to visualize breathing into that area. Feel the body breathe into the heart and the gut. And as you breathe out, you drop that phrase into the heart and the gut area. Let go. Breath by breath, you feel the heart and the gut melting, opening, softening. Let go. We can now let go of the phrase itself, but keep the essence of its idea in the mind as we gently breathe into these areas in the heart and the gut. As we breathe out, just have that continued idea of letting go a little bit more, opening, softening. And that permeates right through the body. Heart and the gut are the centre. The whole body has a deep feeling of letting go. All tension melting out. Little by little, as we practice meditation, this deep feeling of letting go becomes habitual. We first of all form a habit of noticing tension in the body, because as we sit on the cushion, we're developing habit. And then once we notice that tension, we develop the habit of softening and letting go, so that when we're out in our busy world and Samskara kicks in, we pick up the tension, and instead of trying to understand why, we just soften. Like ripples in a pond, we make a difference. Om Mani Padme Hum. You've been listening to The Meditation Show. My name's Andy Spragg. I hope you have a lovely week. Take care, and I'll be back again soon. Bye for now.